Today we're breaking down some really complex ideas, trying to get to the heart of how you actually change the world.
And our focus is a fascinating one, a text that's been, well, both revered and sometimes fiercely reviled.
That's right. Saul D. Alinsky's Rules for Radicals, a pragmatic primer for realistic radicals. And this isn't just theory, is it? It's really a manual for action.
Exactly. It's written for people who want to change the world, not just talk about it, but actually transform it from what it is to what they, believe it should be.
You can almost say if Machiavelli wrote The Prince for the Haves on keeping power.
Then Alinsky wrote Rules for Radicals for the Have-Nots on how to take it. Yeah, his whole aim was empowering ordinary folks.
Building mass organizations, achieving that democratic dream, equality, justice, peace.
Opportunity, all of it. So our mission today really is to dig into this text, pull out the surprising facts, the practical bits of his, let's say, controversial approach.
Yeah, so you, the listener, can get really well informed on this foundational piece of work. Okay, let's jump in. Alinsky's worldview, where does he start?
Well, he starts with the generation he was writing for. He saw these new activists, mostly middle-class kids, actually.
And they were rejecting materialism.
Totally. Rejecting what their parents valued. They saw political leaders as, frankly, contemptible, and they felt just overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed by information.
Yeah, he called it an utter bedlam, just too much noise. So they were searching, searching for meaning, for order.
But not in the old ways. He mentions rejecting cop-outs.
Right, things like drug use or just dropping out into communes. And he was really harsh on nihilistic violence, groups like the Weathermen.
He saw that as psychosis, not real politics.
Pretty much. Psychosis hiding behind a political mask, he thought. Ultimately self-destructive, not leading to real change.
That's a strong take. It connects to his core idea, doesn't it? That he was talking about revolution, not revelation.
Exactly. That distinction is, well, it's everything. It's a rejection of waiting for some perfect moment or divine sign.
It's practical, gritty.
Uh-huh. He's saying the work is here and now. There are no, God-given rules for revolution. Just certain central concepts of action in human politics that always apply.
Okay, so if it's revolution, how does that fit with working inside the system? That feels like a contradiction.
It does, but that's Alinsky's pragmatism. He was adamant. You have to start where the world is if you actually want to change it.
Just burn it all down.
No. He thought saying power comes out of the barrel of a gun was just absurd when, the other side has all the guns.
He even compared the U.S. to places like Moscow or Peking.
Right, saying, look, here you at least have the freedom to fight for change. In other places, that kind of talk gets you executed. He wasn't starry-eyed about it.
And this leads to that key idea. Revolution must be preceded by reformation. What did he mean by that exactly? A gradual thing.
In a way, yeah. It means people, the masses, have to get frustrated enough, fed up enough to let go of the past and chance the future.
Building readiness, not just charging into battle.
Exactly. And avoiding those violent acts he condemned because they backfire, right? They provoke repression, law and order crackdowns, and turn people against you.
Makes sense. Don't alienate the people you need. I remember his advice after the '68 Democratic Convention. Chaos in Chicago. Police riots.
Yeah, and what did he tell the students who'd been beaten and gassed?
Not some fiery call to arms. Just go home, organize, build power, and at the next convention, you be the delegates. Pure strategy.
Pure Alinsky. So if you're building this movement, this power base, what's the number one skill an organizer needs?
Communication, right. He was really clear on that.
Absolutely unequivocal. He said you could lack almost anything else, but not the art of communication.
And it has to happen within the experience of his audience.
Yes, that's crucial. Which means, avoid the jargon, the tired old words and slogans.
Like calling cops pigs or using labels like white fascist racist.
Right. Because the moment you do that, he argued, communication stops. People just label you as one of those and tune out. No connection.
What about humor? He seemed to think that was vital.
Oh, essential. He called humor a man's most potent weapon. Especially for satire and ridicule, it infuriates the opposition.
He sounded almost sad about his generation, saying they laugh too little.
Yeah, a sad and lonely generation. This, too, is tragic. And because humor is so powerful, sometimes you can't just tell people things. You have to, create an experience for them.
Like the chicken liver omelet story.
Exactly. Trying to explain why going outside someone's experience causes confusion. He orders the omelet, asks for the livers on the side, deviates from the norm.
And chaos ensues. The waiter's confused. The bill's wrong.
Perfectly shows how we filter everything through what we already know our own experience.
Or trying to give away that $10 bill on the Bowery. Nobody could understand it within their framework.
Nope. They thought it was a trick, a scam, maybe even a proposition. He couldn't give it away. Proves the point. Go outside their experience, communication breaks down.
And this links to leadership, too. The organizer doesn't just give orders.
Right. Even if the organizer knows the best path, they don't dictate. They use loaded questions, guide the community.
Like Socrates, maybe? Leading them to their own decision.
Sort of, yeah. He admitted it's a form of manipulation, like a teacher uses. But it's vital for people to own their choices, builds confidence, self-reliance.
Okay, this brings us squarely to maybe the most debated part of Alinsky. Means and ends.
The big one. He flips the script, doesn't he? It's not, does the end justify the means? Full stop.
But rather, does this particular end justify this particular means? Very specific.
Changes everything. He hated the idea of immaculate conception and social change. The real world, he said, is corrupt and bloody.
And he who fears corruption fears life.
That's provocative. It is. He basically argued that morality is often just, well, a justification used after the fact for doing what you needed to do.
And he pulls historical examples. The Declaration of Independence.
Yeah, we see it as this shining document. But he points out it was also a strategic call to war. It deliberately left out any British benefits.
To simplify things. Good versus evil.
Right. All shining justice on one side, all evil on the other. Strategic oversimplification. Or think about Lincoln.
Suspending habeas corpus during the Civil War.
Yeah.
Using military commissions, things that weren't strictly legal.
But Lincoln felt they were indispensable to the public safety. Alinsky's take. You do what you can with what you have and clothe it with moral garments.
He claimed all great leaders did this. Churchill, Gandhi, Jefferson, using moral principles to cover naked self-interest.
That was his argument. Even Gandhi's passive resistance, which seems like the peak of morality.
Alinsky saw it as just pragmatic.
Purely. He said it was simply the only intelligent, realistic, expedient program which Gandhi had at his disposal. He even suggested if Gandhi had guns, maybe he'd have used them.
And points out that the Indian National Congress banned passive resistance once they got power. Makes you think.
It really does. It ties into Alinsky's own ethical framework. Ethics is doing what is best for the most. Utilitarian, basically.
He tells that story about not using blackmail, finding it loathsome.
But then immediately says, if he thought it was the only way to win for those 40,000 poor people he was organizing.
Without any reservations, I would have used it.
Because for him, losing that fight, letting those people down, that would be the real immorality.
Okay, so how does the organizer actually build this army for change? What's the process?
First step, establish your identity. Get that license to operate. And often, kind of paradoxically, that means getting the establishment to attack you.
Baiting them into calling you a dangerous enemy?
Exactly. Because that attack validates you in the eyes of the have-nots. When the Chicago Tribune called Alinsky a radical's radical, or the Rochester papers freaked out when he arrived.
That boosted his street cred.
Totally. It told people, hey, the powerful are scared of this guy. He must be on our side. It's backwards, but it works.
He also said communities aren't really disorganized, more like organized apathy.
Organized non-participation, yeah. So the organizer's job is to agitate to the point of conflict.
Turn a general problem, a bad scene people feel helpless about,
into a specific, immediate, winnable issue, something the organization can actually tackle right now.
Like that cinch fight story, the Infant Welfare Society.
Classic Alinsky. Back of the yards, Chicago. He knew they could get the services back just by asking politely. But the community was demoralized, felt powerless.
So he manufactured a confrontation.
Pretty much. Orchestrated this dramatic demand. People stormed the office, banged on desks, shouted, made the officials give in under pressure.
So the community felt like they'd won through strength.
Exactly. It was a calculated psychological boost. Gave them their first taste of power, built confidence. Crucial first step.
And he stressed needing multiple issues, right? Not just one fight.
Yeah. Action is to an organization as oxygen is to an individual. A single issue group fizzles out. You need constant action.
Why is that oxygen so vital? Just keeping busy.
It's more than that. It keeps people engaged, keeps faith alive. Multiple issues attract a wider range of people, too. Keeps the whole thing dynamic, growing. Creates that cycle of participation and success.
And for the individuals involved, it gives them identity.
A birth certificate for life, he called it. For people who felt invisible, He used the John Smith example.
The guy in the slum, nobody notices him.
Right. Then there's a protest. Suddenly a TV camera's there, a microphone in his face.
Yeah.
What's your name, sir? What do you think?
And suddenly, he exists. He has a voice.
Exactly. He's alive in a way he wasn't before. It's incredibly powerful on a personal level.
Okay, let's get practical. The actual tactics. Alinsky's famous rules for tactics.
Right. But he always stressed these aren't like commandments set in stone. They're principles. You need imagination, adaptation.
Tactics means you do what you can with what you've got.
That's the essence. So rule 1, power is not only what you have, but what the enemy thinks you have. Perception is reality.
Rule 2, never go outside the experience of your people. Keep your own side comfortable, not confused or scared.
But then, rule 3, the flip side. Wherever possible, go outside of the experience of the enemy.
That's where you cause them confusion and fear, like Sherman's March to the Sea.
Perfect example. Totally unconventional warfare for the time. The Confederates couldn't predict it, couldn't react effectively, caused panic.
Rule 4, make the enemy live up to their own book of rules.
He figured they usually can't.
Pretty much. Like holding a Christian church to actual Christian principles, he thought it was impossible for institutions. And Rule 5 ties in. Ridicule is man's most potent weapon.
Because it's infuriating and hard to counter. Very hard. How do you fight ridicule without looking even more foolish? Then rule 6, which I always liked, a good tactic is one that your people enjoy.
If it's not fun, something's wrong.
Basically, yeah. And rule 9, the threat is usually more terrifying than the thing itself.
Yeah.
The anticipation can be worse than the reality.
Then never bluff.
Never bluff. If you're caught bluffing, you're dead, he said. Credibility gone.
And a classic, Rule 13.
Mm-hmm.
Pick the target, freeze it, personalize it, and polarize it.
Yes. Don't attack an abstract thing like City Hall or corporate greed. Pick a person. Make them the face of the problem.
Like John L. Lewis targeting Alfred Sloan at GM, not just GM.
Exactly. Makes the fight concrete, personal. Polarizes it, us versus them, focused on that individual target.
Alinsky wasn't shy about using shocking examples of these tactics, was he?
Not at all. The baked beans symphony, that one's infamous.
Buying symphony tickets for people fed only baked beans.
To create natural stink bombs during a quiet concert, utterly outside the establishment's experience. Legal, but absurd. Designed purely for ridicule and disruption.
You have to admit it's creative. In a very Alinsky way.
Definitely. Or the O'Hare shit-in threat.
Planning to have activists just occupy all the airport restrooms.
Yep. Imagine the chaos, the embarrassment for the city. He points out the threat was enough. They didn't have to actually do it. The city caved quickly.
And the department store shop in.
Flooding a fancy store with people browsing meticulously, ordering COD right at closing, then refusing delivery. Again, total legal, but designed to cause maximum financial pain and chaos for the store.
But he also said tactics aren't always these brilliantly planned things.
Right. Often they just emerge. Accident, necessity, and improvisation play a huge role. He used his own Bastille Day story for the Back of the Yards Council.
The date, July 14th, was just practical. Venue available.
Yeah. But when a reporter asked if it was deliberately chosen to echo the French Revolution, Alinsky just ran with it.
Claimed it was intentional.
Yep. Turned an accident into this powerful symbolic narrative after the fact. Brilliant opportunism.
So Alinsky starts with the poor, the has-nots. But later, his focus shifted.
It did. Towards the end of his life, he concluded that the real action, the future of organizing, was America's white middle class.
Why the shift?
Simple answer. Because that's where the power is. He told activists they needed to do a complete turnabout.
Stop rejecting the middle class and start organizing, using their own background.
Exactly. Use your understanding of middle-class life to organize your own people. Drop the infantile dramatics of rejection, as he put it. Get square to communicate effectively.
He saw the lower middle class as key, but also vulnerable.
Very vulnerable. Burdened by taxes, feeling squeezed, dreams deferred, scared, and susceptible, he warned, to demagogues.
So their anger, their frustration could go either way.
Right. Towards something ugly like totalitarianism, or towards what he called Act Two of the American Revolution. Channeling that energy constructively.
And the proxy tactic, like with Kodak, was a model for this.
A prime example. Moving beyond street protests. Buying shares, using shareholder meetings, hitting corporations where they live their bottom line and their governance.
A political bank shot, he called it.
Yeah. It scared corporations and politicians because it was a new form of leverage. Real people power operating within the financial system itself.
So what was the ultimate potential he saw in organizing the middle class like this.
Huge potential. He thought it could mean the organization for power of a previously silent people. It could lead to the democratization of corporate America.
Even changing foreign policy through influencing corporate actions abroad.
That was the vision. Major shifts driven by organized, empowered middle-class citizens.
So, wrapping up, Alinsky's approach is this. Radical pragmatism, isn't it?
That sums it up well. Start where you are, use the means you have, even the uncomfortable ones adapt constantly, build power step by step. Recognize that change is messy.
But possible. He left us with that somewhat melancholic thought, didn't he? The great American dream that reached out to the stars has been lost to the stripes.
We have forgotten where we came from, we don't know where we are, and we fear where we may be going. It really makes you think.
Yeah. What are the mountains we face today in this complex, anxious world?
And how might Alinsky's tough-minded insights about means, ends, power, and organizing, how might they apply now? He had that deep belief, didn't he?
We will see it when we believe it. Something to definitely ponder